The new B98.7 Todd and Aaron show here, and online with us right now, David Cook from American Idol. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
So you're coming to town. We're really excited about this. Just in case everyone's been living under a rock, 7th season American Idol, and you've been all over the place. We're playing Come Back to Me all the time, it seems like, and great fans here in Salt Lake, and you're coming.
Yeah, finally. I feel like it's been forever since I've been able to come out that way, and so to have Real Salt Lake bring us out for their ultimate summer kickoff party, and to just by chance be involved with Nothing But Nets, a great UN foundation. I'm really excited just to get back out and play a show. We haven't played a show in about 3 months. I think.
Really?
We've been working on this record, so yeah, we're coming in fresh.
The thing that's got to be bizarre is that you knew everything would change. I mean, the minute you won American Idol, you knew there was no way it wouldn't. But it still takes a while, and I know you would never criticize, but it does take a while before your life is your own again, and you really do get to plot your own course. What does it feel like now that you're sort of like captain of your own ship again?
I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I know what's going on, but no, I will say, I've been able to really surround myself with some amazing people throughout this process that have really made it much easier, than it could have been, and so now, it's been strange, to go, onto Idol and go through that kind of hectic process, and then go to the Idol tour, and then finish your record, and then go back out on the road. I mean, we were on the road for 10 months last year.
How grueling was that?
You know what? You would think it was the most grueling thing ever, and I had an absolute blast. I was ready for it to be done. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But then a month off the road, and I was like, okay, when do we go back out? And, we've been working on this record, and
tell us about
a home in LA, and been playing Mr. Domestic in my off time. So I'm having a blast.
Tell us about the record.
We've signed on with a really great producer named Matt Soletic. Matt's done Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20, and a ton of other great artists, and so we're really excited. I think these songs are kind of taking more of kind of a natural arc. I think the last record, everything was so quick. We had 4.5 months, I think, from conception to writing to getting a finished record, and so now we've been able to take the time and incorporate more instrumentation and find more interesting and different ways, I think, to say the same thing.
Very cool, very cool. Who's been the biggest help to you? I mean, whether it's your life or music or whatever, who's been the person that has been your backbone?
I've always been really close to my brothers, and I think now my little brother Andrew graduated college and moved out here.
That's cool.
Has really been my backbone in the sense of making sure that when I get to go do these amazing things like come play shows in Salt Lake City, he holds the fort down so that my dog gets to eat and
nice.
my house doesn't fall to the ground. So
and plus, because when you start,
the closest thing I got.
And when you start thinking maybe you're just a little bit special, is he the one who tortures you into reality again?
You have no idea. I was trying to say it in a nice way, but
that's so funny.
There's nothing more fun than starting to think maybe I am kind of cool, and having your family be just cruel enough to.
It's fantastic. Like I'm sure I'll come home, from this Salt Lake gig, and he'll be like, "Hey, how was the show?" And I'm like, "Oh man, it was great. The fans were fantastic, and we were off the road for a while. We actually played. Like, that's great. Hey, the dishes."
Get to it.
Hey, if you're just joining us here on B98.7, we're talking to David Cook. Of course, you got to remember this guy shattered every record by having 11 songs debut on Billboard at the same time, which
because you're nuts.
It means the boy's kind of an overachiever there.
Well, I figured why not? I suppose. No, I just one of those things that at the time didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, and it was extremely flattering, but really hard to wrap your head around. And now 2 years later, still very hard to wrap my head around, and still doesn't entirely make sense. But I think that's more. I think that has to be more of a testament to the power of Idol and really just the right thing happening at the right time, I suppose.
Okay, so you mentioned American Idol. I have to ask this question. I saw the final. We watched Kelly Clarkson. We watched Ruben. We watched everybody else. But unless I had passed out, You were not to be found.
Yeah, it's fun how much press that seemed to get. No, I actually had committed to doing a charity event in Kansas City.
That's what I heard.
Literally a few days, before we got the call from Idol that they were trying to put that together, and the scheduling just didn't work out, and so
you stuck.
Yeah, I was really bummed. I was truly bummed that I couldn't be there and say goodbye to Simon. But I've since been able to contact him and talk to him, and I sent him a little gift and all that. So hopefully all's well.
But you stuck with a charity you made a commitment to.
Absolutely,
that's pretty cool.
I think I'm sure that Simon and everybody at Idol would understand. So,
David, do you know how cool that is, though? How many people would go, screw you, I could go be on the #1 show again and have this big moment. Do you know how many people would stay with the charity that they agreed to do? Nobody. That's an incredible
you would hope
thing.
everybody. Yeah. I think, just for me, it's a charity that I've been involved with for a while, and I really love what they do. I worked with an organization called Shadow Buddies, and they make buddies that and they give them to sick children in hospitals and stuff like that. And basically these buddies have the same ailments as the children that they give them to. So
right.
if you
that's
meet
so
a kid
cool.
who might be dealing with leukemia, then these buddies have leukemia, and it's nice, and I think it serves an amazing purpose. And so there really wasn't much of a decision to make it, in my mind anyway.
Well, that's very cool.
It's not easy to ask this because I'm sure that people do talk about this, and something as intimate and personal as losing your brother, in the middle of one of the happiest times of your life, it's got to be one of the cruelest juxtapositions. But is this part of the commitment for you? I don't know quite how to ask this because I don't know your stance on the divine or what happens afterwards. But was it part of your commitment that if you got to have this great gift that you were going to have to make sure that he was part of it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, wow. For me, it was just, I remember going through the Idol process and being really, protective of my brother and my family, especially, I know what we dealt with just internally. I would hate to have to on top of that deal with external pressure to talk about it
right.
and do all that. And so it really was something where when the opportunity came up for me and my family to discuss, who my brother was and what he stood for, when the opportunity came to discuss that in a public forum in a way that we felt comfortable, which was, through charity work,
right.
We kind of relished in that. And I think if we can tell Adam's story and it gets everybody one step closer to finding a cure. If it gives somebody just this this modicum of relief, then I think we'd be remiss not to talk about it.
Very cool.
You're asking. It's such a huge gift for your mother too, because as a mother myself, I can't imagine enduring something like that. And so, this is actually a gift that you're giving your mother as well, that you're giving her this chance to do something so... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all verklempt on you, Dave.
No. I mean, look, I think that's a huge testament to, this disease, is that it reaches across, any sort of divide. I think everybody... I've said it before. I think everybody knows somebody who's had to deal with this, and so it's something that needs more attention and it needs more funding, and it's amazing how things like this can get swept under the rug every now and again.
Well, thanks for keeping it up on the surface.
Oh well, I'm doing my small part, I suppose.
Well, Rusty, our program director, first of all, he says, "Go Chiefs." And
Yes, my heart just grew like 3 sizes.
Okay, good.
I love it.
All right, the game is tonight. The Galaxies are coming. We're going to kick their butts because we are Real Salt Lake, and we are the champions, by the way. You are going to be performing in a stadium of 18,000 people. It is a brand new stadium. It is open. It is gorgeous, and we are excited to see you.
I'm excited to be there. I hope everybody comes and supports Real Salt Lake, and then maybe sticks around for a little rock show. Why not?
Very cool.
I think it's sold out. What's the first song you're going to play when you come on tomorrow night?
I don't know that we've decided yet, but I know it'll be loud and it'll be fun.
Okay, David Cook, thank you for talking with us. We'll see you tonight at the Real Salt Lake Stadium, the Rio Tinto Stadium, and it's going to be a blast.